How what's up, y'all? It's Papa was cracking this. Dave Boss here. Actually, this Blackie Speaks video title. What's really going on with female rappers? Oh, okay, I want to hear what he has to say. Last year, I was very happy with the state of female rap. I feel like we got a lot of good bangers. I was very happy with the girlies dropping left and right. I feel like we got some quality music. This year, it's still pretty early. Don't know what to expect, but I am looking forward to some women dropping. And yeah, I feel like we're on the up and up. But maybe he thinks otherwise. Let's hear what he has to say. Let's watch.
What's going on with female rappers right now? When I have a conversation about the women in the game right now, I was supposed to drop this video on International Women's Day, which was on March 8th, but I wasn't able to work fast enough, so here it is today. There's no doubt that female rap is thriving right now.
Yeah.
We've seen an influx of new faces in the game, and women in hip-hop are getting more visibility than ever before. But with that rise, there's also a lot to unpack here. Whether it's the way the industry markets female rappers, the archetypes that get pushed to the forefront, or how much of the success is truly organic. Female rappers have, for a very long time, struggled to gain the same level of respect and recognition as their male counterparts in hip-hop, and that's largely because they've always been outnumbered. Hip-hop has always been a male-dominated space since its inception, meaning there have always been more men trying to make it in the rap game than women. Naturally, that means that there are more male rappers in the industry, more opportunities created.
And this is also just seen as a masculine genre.
With them in mind, and fewer spots available for women to break through. But despite that, we've seen some incredibly influential women make a lasting impact in hip-hop. And the most recognized one in today's era is, of course, Nicki Minaj.
Well, no, I guess you could also say that singing, pop, R&B, that's a feminine genre, but males thrive in that, so.
Minaj has been a game changer in so many ways. From her lyricism to her versatility and branding, she set the blueprint for a lot of the newer female rappers we see today. But before Nicki, there were pioneers like Lil' Kim, who helped lay the foundation for what female rap could look like in the mainstream. Lil' Kim was among one of the first female rappers to embrace a bold, sexually confident persona while still being respected for her pen game. And in that same era, we had names like Trina, who I feel like doesn't get enough credit for her contributions to the culture. Trina, a Miami native...
Sorry, no shade. I'm only making that face because he said that Kim was also respected for her pen game, and then he brought up Trina. I don't feel like Trina has ever been super lyrical. She's made fun bops for people to sing along to, but I've never felt like she was this respected lyricist, just personally. No shade. I know she's a legendary figure in female rap, but I've just never felt like, oh, she rapping.
Actually studying for her real estate license before she got discovered. Her big break came in the late 90s when Trick Daddy put her on his song Nah Nigga, which ended up launching her career. And I bring up Trina because people often talk about Lil' Kim or Nicki Minaj, but Trina also played a big role in shaping female rap, especially for the women coming up in the South. Now, Missy Elliott was, of course, also a major force in the early 90s wave of female artists. Missy was way ahead of her time, blending hip-hop and R&B effortlessly, mixing rap with singing, and making music that felt like it was straight out of the future. Missy always had a strong creative vision, both musically and visually. In the 90s, she was doing things that no one has been able to replicate since. She constantly pushed the boundaries, was never afraid to stand out or be seen as different. Missy's definitely one of the women who contributed to the blueprint a lot of the newer female rappers have used in their own careers. Now, when we look at hip-hop today, especially over the last decade, there's a very clear archetype that the industry favors when it comes to female rappers. Sex appeal has always played a role in female rap. But right now, it seems like the record labels are prioritizing marketability over raw talent. We've seen names like Ice Spice and Sexy Red rise to the top. And while they've both carved out their own lanes, it's obvious that the industry is heavily invested in this particular brand of female rap. But let's not get it twisted, because women like Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, and even Trina also embraced their sexuality in their music. The difference is, back then, you had to bring more to the table than just a certain image. Back then, you needed bars, stage presence, and the ability to stand on your talent. Now, with social media playing such a big role in an artist's success, we've seen an influx of new female rappers who blow up almost overnight. The majority of them seem to be marketed based on aesthetics first and music second. Back in the day, artist development played a much bigger role in shaping a rapper's career. Labels invested time and resources into refining artists before pushing them to the masses. Women like Lil' Kim, Missy Elliott, and Foxy Brown had to put the work in the studio, on stage, and through cosigns from established artists before they ever got their shine. There simply was a process to making it. Now that process is almost non-existent. If an artist catches a viral moment, the industry rushes to capitalize on it, whether they're fully developed or not. Ice Spice is a prime example of what I'm talking about. That's why we see so many female rappers rise quickly, but struggle to maintain momentum. Without a strong foundation, longevity becomes a challenge. And because the focus is so much on marketability, it often feels like labels are treating these artists as temporary investments rather than long-term careers. With that being said, there are still a lot of female rappers making noise who don't fit the typical mold. And one of them is Glorilla. Glorilla first broke out less than 3 years ago with her viral hit FNF. She's one of the few female rappers who I think really beat the odds in a way. When she first came in the game, she got a lot of support right away, but at the same time, there's a lot of skepticism. People were wondering what was her career actually going to look like. What makes Glorilla stand out?
She does ratchetry well. You know, the reason why I can't stand Sexy Red is because she's just gross. Like, just talking about STDs and her nasty ass lip glosses that she came out with. Like, she just disgusts me. That's why I don't like her. And it's just like, I feel like, yeah, she was just getting forced on me. You know, and don't get it fucked up. She had a song or two that I enjoyed. All right. But overall, I just want her to go away, to be real.
Is that she has a more unconventional.
But Glow can actually rap, and her ratchetry doesn't feel forced, and like she's trying to be over the top, just disgusting, just to be disgusting. Like she's just being herself.
She doesn't fit the usual hyper feminine image that a lot of labels push. Her tone and her music has a rawness to it, and even though she primarily appeals to women, she also has a style that a lot of male listeners gravitate towards. And in today's era of female rap, that's definitely rare. It seemed like at first her label wasn't entirely sure how to market her, but over time, she just managed to find her own lane. And that's what makes her unique. There's really no one else like Glorilla right now. And then we of course have Doechii, who's doing phenomenal right now. This is an interesting name right here because I've been aware of her for a few years at this point. For anyone who's not familiar, Doechii is a 26-year-old rapper from Tampa, Florida, and she signed to Top Dog Entertainment, the same imprint Kendrick Lamar was once on. Right now, she's one of the biggest breakout names in the female rap sphere. She's going global as we speak and already has a few big records under her belt. Now, I haven't really done a super deep dive into Doechii, so I'm going to refrain from speaking on her come up just yet. But just from watching how she moves and how she's positioned herself in the industry, it makes complete sense why she's blown up. Doechii is incredibly talented and has a sharp artistic vision. She's not just a rapper, she's an all-around creative. She's really big on fashion.
What are these things on her temples? I hate them. Whatever it is, it just confuses me and it looks weird.
Into her visuals. And she knows how to present herself in a way that makes her stand out. On top of that, she's extremely versatile. She can sing, she can rap, and she can blend different styles effortlessly. She's a very refreshing presence in the game because she doesn't really fit into any specific box. You can't compare her to any other female rapper right now. And that alone says a lot about her uniqueness. I think over time, she's only going to continue getting bigger. Another name I want to talk about is Latto. Out of all the popular female rappers right now, I gotta say, Latto might actually be my personal favorite. And I'll be honest and say that, when she first came in the game, I had my doubts. But over time, Latto has definitely proven herself. She solidified her style and has shown that she belongs in the genre. I wouldn't say that Latto is the most lyrical rapper, but Latto has something a lot of other women in the game don't. She has style, she has confidence, and a strong presence on the mic. She knows how to write a beat, her delivery is always on point, and she has a certain charisma that makes her music hit. Latto also has a good balance in her music. A lot of female rappers lean heavily into the sexual content, which of course is what the industry prioritizes. But Latto doesn't really rely on that alone. She finesses it in a way that feels natural rather than forced. I also noticed that out of all the mainstream female rappers, Latto is definitely one of the few that a lot of male listeners gravitate towards, kind of like Glorilla. Her music is just more digestible across different audiences. Her debut album, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, which dropped in August last year, was very solid. She's continuing to build her brand, and honestly, I think Latto is going to have a very long run if she keeps playing her cards right. And of course, we can't talk about female rappers and not talk about Megan Thee Stallion.
And no shade to Latto, because she has a couple songs that I've enjoyed for sure. But just overall, I do honestly think her looks has played a major role in her success. I have enjoyed, her visually more than anything else. Like every time I see her, I'm like, oh, she's so pretty, so I feel like that's why she's been around a while, is because she's so attractive. But when you compare her to other female rappers, I just don't feel like her music is nearly as good. But obviously that's a personal opinion. Maybe other people feel otherwise and they just feel like, oh, her music is so fire, so she is at the top. But yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion is a name I personally, haven't really been that big on. The thing about Meg is, she definitely makes it very clear. She makes music for the women. Megan Thee Stallion is not as inclusive as a lot of the other names I've spoken about on this list. For Meg, she's all about putting up for the hotties. And that's cool because that's the fan base that's driving her success. And the same, of course, goes for a lot of the other women on this list as well.
That too.
However, I think for Megan, if she wasn't, I don't think her presence in the industry would be as strong. So Meg's audience is the kind of audience that's very focused. Now, Meg on a technicality level is actually a dope rapper. But I think for her, her technical ability doesn't always necessarily translate itself into the music. Because I think Meg focuses more on making anthems for the women, something they can listen to and feel. However, I think Meg is always going to have a spot in the game because she does have a very strong fan base. Also, something else I've noticed about Meg is that she's a great networker. And that's just my personal observation. Meg just has a very strong personality, and that obviously helps because everything in the music industry is about relationships. Overall, I think she's done a great job at just leveraging all of her strengths and making it work. Now, aside from Meg, we of course have Cardi B. Now, I'm not a big fan of Cardi B, but she is a very successful female rapper. Numbers-wise, Cardi is among the top ones. She's had a lot of big records throughout the last few years. Always seems to be in a conversation. It's kind of hard to deny her success.
If you want to call it that. I personally have really enjoyed Cardi's music, so I'm going to say talent, okay? Whether somebody is writing her music or not, her lyrics, that's a whole other story. But, I really enjoyed her songs, her delivery, and whatnot, but it's just such a waste because she should have dropped this damn album a really long time ago, but she focused on the wrong shit.
Obviously for Cardi B, there's a lot of other things that come into play, like how she leveraged her fame in reality TV and her social media popularity and used that to jump into rap. My personal feelings about Cardi B aside, she's done very well for herself. She's dropped one of the most successful female rap albums of the last decade in 2018, Invasion of Privacy. Ever since, she hasn't dropped another album, but she still managed to stay at the forefront of a lot of conversations. And Cardi B is someone who I think has gotten to where she's at through leveraging her relationships. Don't think she can be compared to Megan Thee Stallion in this sense, because Meg had to build herself from the ground up in music, while Cardi B already had one foot in hip-hop due to her social media popularity and her connection to hip-hop. Aside from the success, I don't know about the respect though, because that's one thing I think Cardi B is never going to be able to get. She's going to continue to be a part of a lot of big records, is probably going to drop some more really big records in the future, but as far as respect, that's not something Cardi is ever really going to get. At least that's what I think. And this is something she's spoken about throughout the years. She kind of holds a grudge against the game because people don't want to give her her flowers. Obviously, it ain't too crazy why that's the case. First of all, she did admit to only making music for money years ago. Aside from that, it never seemed like Cardi B really had that big of a passion for music. No matter what you say about any of the women I spoke about previously, all of them clearly have a passion for the art of creating music unlike Cardi B. And that goes a long way, believe it or not. Doja Cat is another name that can't be left out of the conversation.
That's another reason why I never really fucked with Young Miami as well, because it was so clear that she was only in it for the money. Like, she never was actually passionate about rapping, and it shows when you actually put music out. It's like, But I feel like with Cardi, even if she wasn't into it, she had good writers. And she has a great delivery. So, I feel like that definitely helped her out a lot.
In so many ways. Ultra creative,
Miami just sounds slow,
and truly one of a kind. But what makes Doja Cat stand out is her versatility. She's not an artist you can put in a box. She can rap, she can sing, she can switch flows effortlessly, and she does it all without feeling restricted to only one style or one genre. The thing I really appreciate about Doja is that she embraces that freedom. A lot of artists feel pressured to stick to a lane, but Doja Cat seems to generally enjoy pushing the boundaries and experiments with a lot of different sounds. One moment she's dropping a pop-heavy hit, the next she's spitting bars over a hard-hitting beat. And no matter what, she does it at a very high level. Also, her visuals, top tier. Her performances and entire artistic approach.
Why you didn't mention that about Meg? Meg's visuals are also top tier. I really like that
about Doja Cat. I'm personally not the biggest fan, but I do respect someone who's very meticulous about how they present themselves visually. You really got to be a visionary to pull off some of the things Doja Cat has done. And then Sexy Red and Ice Spice are two names that are worth bringing up in this conversation. Not necessarily because of their artistry, but because of what they represent in today's culture. Now, I'll keep it at that. I don't have too many good things to say about them, so let's not focus too much on them per se. Instead, let's talk a little bit about why they are as big as they are and what their rise says about the world we live in. Because their success goes beyond just rap. It's a reflection of the times we're in right now. Ice Spice blew up in the most modern way possible, off of a viral 3-second clip from one of her songs. That's all it took. The industry saw the momentum, capitalized on it instantly, signed her, and put her on a massive platform.
And I really liked her last album. I know a lot of people didn't. They talk shit about it, but, I thought it was a fun, basic album. It wasn't the most lyrical. It definitely wasn't, solidifying her as this great female lyricist whatsoever. But I did think it was a, basic little rap album or whatever. But this last snippet that she put out of her showing her whole bare ass, I'm just like, girl, now this is just embarrassing at this point, and I don't even want to hear your music no more.
And in the end, Ice Spice ended up breaking through, so gotta give her credit because
it's just giving desperation.
Can obviously do that, right? But for Ice Spice, the stars definitely did align for her in a way that it doesn't for a lot of other women. Ice Spice had a lot of things that worked in her favor, benefiting from nepotism through her producer she met in college, whose father was in the music industry. And then we have pretty privilege, the halo effect. And let's be honest, the industry always favors young, light-skinned women, especially in the colorist society like the one we're living in today. That's why an Ice Spice will always get a bigger push than a female rapper with a darker skin tone, more lyrical ability, but less of that marketable look. That's not taken away from her ability to capitalize on a moment, but it's impossible to ignore how much the system worked in her favor. And then we have Sexy Red. Now, how can I put this? Sexy Red is Sexy Red. Red is the extreme version of everything people associate with salaciousness, ratchetness, and shock value. And that's why she's so successful. I do also think there's a strong agenda at play with how the industry is pushing her. That's just my personal opinion.
Absolutely.
Especially considering how...
That's the other reason why I don't like her. Because, it's like, oh, she's representative of a black female. And no, she's not. So that also really gets on my nerves.
She blew up. How many industry doors opened up for her? And the type of image she represents, it's just really hard not to believe that there's a deeper push behind her success. But conspiracy theories aside, Sexy Red is very polarizing. And in today's world, that's one of the things you need to blow up. She draws a strong reaction, whether good or bad. She's confident, unfiltered, and unapologetic. She knows how to keep people talking. And at the end of the day, that's something that sells, along with sex. In a way, both Ice Spice and Sexy Red are the perfect reflections of modern-day entertainment. Viral moments over artist development, controversy over craft, and image over skill.
I would argue, though,
whether that's a good thing or not, that's up to you to decide. Despite everything we talked about, female rap is obviously thriving. There's no doubt about that. More women than ever are getting their shine. There's also more opportunities for the women and more recognition for the women than ever before. But at the same time, this new wave of success raises an important question. Is it real progress? Throughout hip-hop history, female rappers had to fight to get respect in a game dominated by men. Breaking through wasn't just about having the right image. It required lyrical skill, style, and undeniable talent. Artists like Lil' Kim, Missy Elliott, and Trina didn't get a pass based on their looks alone. They had to bring something real to the table to earn their place. Fast forward to today, and the rules have obviously changed. With social media, artists can blow up off of a few seconds of virality. And once the industry sees a name moving, they jump on it instantly. Like Ice Spice, who had a viral moment, and suddenly she ended up being everywhere. And then you have Sexy Red, who represents a different kind of industry push. She's not as polished, she's not willing to follow a traditional path, but what does she have? Controversy, confidence, and shock value. There are, of course, a lot of artists like Latto, Glorilla, and Doechii who bring something unique to the table, and who stand out because of their presence, their style, and their music. And it's not just about how they look or what kind of reaction they generate. I would say that Megan Thee Stallion exists somewhere in between. She's undeniably talented, but also leans into a hyper-focused audience. Because, she's making music exclusively for women, which, of course, limits her reach. Cardi B, on the other hand, has all the success in the world, but struggles with industry respect. Because no matter how many records she sells, there's always the question about how much of her success was truly organic. And Nicki Minaj is always going to be Nicki Minaj. She's forever an icon in the game. And honestly, I don't know if we'll ever see another female rapper reach her level of impact and dominance. She set the bar so high that it's hard to imagine anyone else surpassing it. I'm really curious to see where female rap is headed in the next few years. There's a lot of talent in the game right now, and artists like Doechii are definitely pushing the boundaries in ways that could reshape the landscape. This type of creativity is only going to open the floodgates for more diverse sounds. The question is, will the industry embrace it or keep pushing the same formula? Only time will tell. She made it.
Agreed. And I also appreciate where we are right now in terms of female rap because, back when Nicki was like super popping and at her peak, she was the only female rapper. And now we have variety. We have way more female rappers to choose from that give us something different. So, as much as I don't like Sexy Red, for example. You know, at least she is appealing to, you know, the ratchets. And it plays into the versatility because you have the super ratchet ones, you have the really lyrical female rappers, you have the female rappers who only make music for the ladies, you know, so there's a lot to, you know, pick from. So I appreciate the variety of female rap. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. I'm excited about all the music dropping this year. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you've been watching. I'll see y'all in the next time. Bye!